Now, Ethiopian Airlines has scored yet another first following the introduction of the new ultra-modern Airbus A350 wide-body airliner on its enormous routes through Nairobi. Now, the plane, which arrived in Kenya last night to an exclusive reception by KTN News, is indicative of an airline which is making waves in flight, even as competitors, including our very own Kenya Airways, continue to struggle. We are going to be speaking to the country manager for Ethiopian Airlines, who is going to be talking to us more about the revenues and what exactly we should expect from the fact that we now have an Airbus. But then again, well, let's just get ahead and talk to him. Zewdu, Mariam, thank you so much for joining us. Well, we have actually seen the Airbus now make its way to the Nairobi route. But for people who don't really quite understand what an Airbus is, for that matter, maybe you just might want to bring us up to speed.
Yeah. It is a modern aircraft. It's a new aircraft. There are only 22 around the globe. The Ethiopian Airlines has got one of the 14 ordered Airbuses, I mean A350s.
Yeah.
It has very fascinating facilities, spacious legroom, personal TV screen, and other facilities as well. Economically, it is burning less fuel compared to other types of aircraft in this category. That again brings an economic advantage to Ethiopian Airlines.
All right. So what is the capacity of the A350?
It has a capacity of 347 passengers, 30 in business class, and the rest are in economy.
All right.
According to our configuration.
Okay. When you were actually thinking of buying the Airbus A350, what was the target for the A350?
Yeah, it is an economic decision because nowadays quite a number of our markets need such a big and long-range aircraft. Our dense routes like Guangzhou, Bangkok, Hong Kong, the Americas. We fly to Washington, New York, Los Angeles. So all these routes really need such type of aircraft. And it was a business decision, as I said.
All right. And this brings the number of fleet you have to how many?
78 now.
78?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many destinations does
We are flying to 93 international destinations at the moment.
Yeah. And how many in Africa?
Over 50 destinations in Africa. We are flying to 54 destinations in Africa. In
54.
fact, the majority of our destinations in Africa. Literally, we are everywhere in Africa.
All right. Tell us about the numbers. You know, in the last 1 year, you seem to have performed quite very well.
Yeah.
But give us the numbers.
Yeah, we did. Our 2014-15 revenue was 2.5 billion US dollars, with a profit margin of 173 million dollars.
All right, and what is the strategy in the coming months, coming years? Yeah,
we have a big vision. It is Vision 2025. By 2025, our objective is to have a revenue of 10 billion US dollars with 10% margin, which is 10 million USD. Sorry, 1 billion USD, sorry.
Right.
In terms of routes also, we are intending to increase our internationals to 120 destinations. We are growing in every respect. Our aircraft's number will be 144. Although it is a straight target, our history showed that we will be achieving it, and we have been achieving so far.
All right. What is it that you do that is keeping the airline very profitable?
Yeah, it's a combination of factors. Number one, although the airline is fully owned by the government does not intervene in the day-to-day activities of the airline. It has left that to the professionals. So freely, the management and the staff are there to implement the vision of the top management or the airline.
All right. And how many employees do you have right now?
We have close to 10,000 employees, but by 2025 we'll be having 17,000 of them.
So the airline or the aviation industry has experienced quite some low moments, especially the past 3 years on the African continent as well. Have you been hit hard by the developments globally?
Obviously, although we have combated the threat, no airline is immune. So we were affected by a number of factors. Ebola was there, terrorism was there, other calamities were there, war affected ones were there. At one point, oil prices were going very high. Despite all these challenges, we were able really to manage the challenges and emerge as winners.
All right. A number of airlines as well around in Kenya as well as around the continent have fronted the challenge of, you know, the barriers that exist in regard to aviation agreements as well between the different states or different cities around Africa. How have you managed to deal with that?
We are also really a victim of that, I would say, although we are really managing within the constraint, because particularly Africans should have a free airspace where African airlines are operating without any restriction.
Right.
Currently, 80% of the total market share from Africa is taken by non-African carriers. There are very handful airlines like Ethiopian Airlines, Kenya Airways, South African Airways, Egypt Air, and in the north we have Tunisia, Air Maroc, Air Mauritius. We are very, really few in number compared to the demand of the aviation service on the continent.
All right.
So it is really taken by non-African carriers. One factor that has contributed for this is because there is restriction for African airlines to move freely within their own continent. There is a declaration signed by all African airlines. It was signed, in fact, over a decade ago, but it has not been implemented so far. It is called a Yamoussoukro Declaration. So the remedy now for all African airlines is really to pull their resources together, synergize, so that they can at least maximize their market share to the level of 50%.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate the time taken to come talk to us.
Thank you.
Zewdu Mariam is the country manager for Ethiopian Airlines here in Kenya, and he's been talking to us about the new Airbus A350 that is going to be plying the longer routes around the world.